connecting. I will share the recording later tonight on the WhatsApp group as well. But don't worry if you lose connection during the session. Okay, so basically going to work through one of the previous exam papers. Basically over the next 3 sessions. So tonight, Thursday, and then next week, Monday, so that we can prepare you guys for your last exam on next week, Wednesday. Okay, so let's start. And as you will see, we'll work through lots of these questions, and I'll show you mostly how to do it on your calculator. If there is instances that we can do it on Excel, I will also show you how we will do that. Okay, so let's start with this one. They're not going to tell you that we're working with simple discount, but I tried to label as I went through the paper to say what it might be, so that you can also get a feeling of how it will be in the exam. Because again, I think there's nearly certain things that you will get. So as we go through the paper, I will also show those things that you will definitely get. And one of them is something on simple discount. So you will definitely get a question on simple discount. It might be one that you need to calculate your interest, or it might be one like this that we need to work out a payment. So it might be, we'll read now, but it might be future, or it might be the present value. So Sia wants to buy a second sound system worth 3,500 and borrows the money from a bank at a discount rate of 13% per year. The amount Sia will pay the bank in 10 months' time. Okay, so we basically need to work out what is the value that Sia needs to pay in 10 months' time. So we will need to get a future value. Remember, we're working with simple discount, so the built-in functions of your HP and Sharp and Casios will not work for this. We will need to use a simple discount formula. And let's just see, we want to work out the future value. We've got the present value of 3,500. Then we just make sure that we include all the detail. So the interest is 13% a year. And the amount here will pay back in 10 months' time. Remember, the time period is 10 over 12 because it's 10 months of a year. Okay, so that will influence your calculation. So if we just simplify a bit, and then if I say the 3,500 minus 8 divided by, what was it, about 0.9, we'll get the value of 3925.23. 2925.23, which is option C. Okay, so with this one, we just need to remember we're working with simple discount. So then we work with a simple discount formula. What also is important with this is that we can't use our calculators for this, because your calculator only works with compounded interest. So we need to use the formula that I have also shared on that formula page. So again, for the guys not on our WhatsApp group, you can send me a WhatsApp on 0837908387. I'll join you on the I'll let you join on a WhatsApp group so that you can just get some of the notifications and some other documents as we prep for the last week. Okay, so this first one was around simple discount. You will definitely get a question on simple discount in your exam. Okay, let's look at the next one. So Judith decided to save money to discharge a loan of 500,000 6 years from now. Okay, using sinking fund method. Okay, so again, in this one as well, nearly jumping around between all the study units. So again, just be aware for that in the exam as well. The interest on the loan is 15.6 per year, paid quarterly. Okay, so that is important. The sinking fund will earn interest at a rate of 8.4% per year compounded monthly. Then what we'll need to work out is what is the monthly into the sinking fund. Okay, I just want to save everything. I'm worried that something is going to crash here. Okay, let's see how, oh, this is not good. Okay, let me just try something. Sorry guys, I just want to see what went wrong here with my laptop. I assume you can't see anything at the moment. Okay, so while I'm getting my screen up, let me just type in my WhatsApp number for you guys. Let's now see. What's happening?
Hello?
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my screen, then I'll be
Okay,
back.
fine.
It just went dead, so I'm trying everything on the side.
No problem. I just thought, no, you off for something.
Oh, wait. This is really an issue now. Nothing. Screen is dead. Weird. Okay, so we're going to go old method. One screen, so let's see how that will go. Okay. Okay, can you guys see this at least?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so let's try it this way. When the screen hopefully comes back at a stage, we can move over to the two screens again. Okay, cool. Okay, so first question that we covered was on simple discount. Now we are looking at the sinking fund. So let's look at the information that they give us, and what we will do. So let's quickly, and with a sinking fund, I will use my calculator. So we can definitely use that for this. So let's quickly see. Judith decides to save money to discharge a loan of 500,000. So we have that as your S. So that is your future value. Then the other thing that we have is your interest. So let's just look at that interest. 8.4% per year compounded monthly. So just remember the monthly, because that will influence it. So depending on what calculator you use, you might want to change something on your interest. But since I'm using the HP, I will just add the payments per year, which will be 12. And then remember that we're working with 6 years sometimes. And when I read these questions, one normally reads over when a word is written nearly in text and not as a number. So sometimes one nearly misses the 6. So whenever you guys write it or read it, and you see it, write it down immediately, because again, later on when one goes over it, it might be that you just miss it and then maybe not put in the right number. Okay, so let's see, what else do we need? We're going to work out a PMT. Then sometimes what I do is just I will add my present value as 0, just so that I don't, sometimes when one has worked out the previous question and it's in the memory, It might affect your answer. It might also not, but I just like to make sure that I have that in my memory as when I know it is cleared at least. Okay, so let's put that into a calculator. So it will be minus 500,000 future value will be 12 times per year. It will be for 6 years. So remember then there is that is a 72 periods. Then it is 8.4% interest. And the only thing that we need then is to work out the PMT. So your payments will be 5364.60, which is option B. So there might in the exam on this one be a follow-up question so that you need to work with the interest on the loan. But for this one, we only looking at the work with the sinking fund. Okay, so just be very careful. They give us information around the loan as well, so that, but then they will normally direct you into what we want to need to work out. And in this instance, we needed to work out what is the monthly deposits into the sinking fund. Okay, so again, just be very careful in a question like this, where they give you more information. It might be that there is a follow-up question in your exam, and I think that was the case in your mock exam as well. They need to tell you this information is based for questions 2 and 3 or something like that. So they will not give you this information and then suddenly in the next question give information again and say, well, it's based on the previous question. So for that, at least they will need to prep you guys that you are working with information for more than one question. So I think that is just important to note as well. Okay, so we've done simple discount, then we jump to sinking funds, and now we work with coupon and coupon rates. And so again, you guys can see even in nearly the first, and this was, I think, one of the supplementary exams. So the first few questions really not in any order. So I think also just important, and don't, I think your exam is also that you guys can just let me know if that is true, but I think your exam is also that when you've done a question, you can't go back to a previous question. I just want to check with you that it is like that. So please, when you get some of the more difficult ones, don't be too worried that all of them is like that. There's normally 3 or 4 that is difficult, but then the rest is normally very manageable. I think what normally catches you out is that sometimes one is thinking that, sure, this question is easy. Where are they trying to catch me out? So there are questions like that, but I'll show you some of them in this paper as well. So don't be too worried if something looks too easy compared to a question like this. So let's go into what we need to find and work out here. So consider the stock we've got a coupon rate, yield to maturity, settlement date, maturity date, and we want to work out the all-in price. Okay, so let's just make this a bit bigger. So we want to work out for all-in price. So nearly what I would do first with this one is draw a timeline. So let's see the settlement date, 12 August 2022. Then the next coupon will be actually 8 September. Remember, half year. So we will have one that is sitting here at 8 March 23. But then we're sitting here with one at 8 September 22. And then let's make this one the last one, 8 March 52. Okay, so what we need to work out here is a bit this, how many days are between 12th of August and 8 September. We also need to work out how many days are between 8 March 2022 and 8 September 2022. So one can use the tables to get that one to that will be 184. To get this one will be 27. So again, in that document that I shared today on the group, I think one of the last pages is the counting days table as well. So please, I'll send it on later again tonight with everybody joining during the tonight session. Then I will share it again. And if you guys can, I must now think you guys are also writing with one of the apps. I think it is Open Book, you must tell me, but again, if you can maybe get that document printed, then at least you have a table in front of you, you have some of the formulas in front of you, so that will at least help a bit. Okay, so let's just work out the rest of this period here. So from 8 March 2023 to 8 March 2052, remember that is so that will be 58 periods, so it's 29 years, times 2 is 58 half years. Then here we're also sitting with a half year. So in total, we are sitting in this instance with 59 half year periods. Okay, so let's quickly see if we can put that into a formula so that we can get the things that we need. So let me quickly just check. And let me rather do this. Okay, so let me show you with the total 10.9% because we're going to divide that by 2 because of the half-year period. Then we are sitting with, again, one can, in all of them, I'm going to first use the full year period for percentage, just to show where we are dividing by 2 and not, so that we can just get the full picture of that. Okay, that's a 59. Then from a formula, we need to minus 1 still, and that we divide by, okay, so now I'm going to rather just use the 4.35. That was the 8,7 divided by 2. I will also, now that I'm writing this down, I actually see that I haven't written on my note pages the original, so I will send you guys just the page number of this original formula as well, that you have it, so that you can just use it to replace. So then when it makes it easier for you also to do that and use that. So sorry that I haven't done it yet. So I will add it for you guys. Let's just hope I can write here in. Okay, so that will be the part that we first need to work out. Interesting, when we do this calculation, what we're getting is one of your answers. So when we work that out, we get 123.23691, which is option B. But then what we still need to add to that is a few things. So we will need to add to that the 4.35, which is basically looking at this period of 8 September 2022. So then when we do that, we get 128, which is also going to be one of your answers. 68691. But we're not done because we still need to work into this equation with 27 over 184. So we will still need to, so for part A, there was the answer. For part B, there was the answer. But now we still need to work out the final with this 27 days taken into account. So 128.68691. We will multiply that with 1 plus 0.0435. So that is also the same as 4.35%. And then remember, we do it to the power of R over H. And in this instance, R was 27 over 184. Okay. And then that final answer will be 127.88 535. Okay, so yes, let me just quickly make my screen bigger. So yes, question. Oh, can yes, couldn't you see my screen?
Yes, I don't see your workings.
Oh, did anybody else also not see it?
Yes.
Now it's stuck on one screen. I thought you may be writing on the page there. And then
Okay, so
going,
let me this is so frustrating. Okay, so is it showing now all the
Yes, now it's showing.
Okay, now it's showing. Okay. Ah, okay. Okay, sorry. So where did I started losing you guys? At the beginning already or only at the end?
I think from the after the timeline.
Oi, okay. Okay,
Yes, way back.
way back. Okay, next time shout loud that I can hear you guys. Okay, cool. So what I did was to say, okay, so we first worked out, so we need to work out for all-in price. So we first worked out the for the 59 periods, half-year periods. So what I did here was to say, so a lot of the time you guys will in answers already see that they use 5.45. So where I got that just is the coupon rate divided by 2 because it is twice a year. Then what I will add for you guys is I will add this formula because yeah, I now see when I wrote it down on my page here next to me as well, I haven't included the formula. So I will just do that because what I basically did was to say, okay, C was the 10.9, so that's why I will write this down as well, because then it's easier when I add the formula as an extra slide in, when we know exactly what it refers to. I think after this question, if you guys can just give me a few seconds to reboot my system, that I can just get my second screen up and running again, that will be great. Okay, so I will then just share this formula as well. Okay, so what I just showed here was how we will work out, and let me get another color. So that was for the 59 period. You can see everywhere the 59. Then, and that answer was 123. Then what we normally will add is the yield to maturity. So that will give us the 128. And unfortunately, there's for each one of them, there is an answer as well. So very important in this one that we need to work out for all-in price. So then what we still need to add to this is this 27 days. So that's why I'll take the 128,6869, and I multiply it with the interest. but then with the R over H, which is the 27 over the 184, to give us the total all-in price of 127,885.35, which is option A. Okay, does that make a bit more sense now that you guys can see what I actually did? Yes. There's a question.
Yeah, in the
Yes.
I think in the first calculation, why did you put 59 instead of 58?
Okay, so very good. So remember our period is there is from September to March. There's also one 6-month period that we need to take into account. So we look at the full 58 over 29 years from 8 March 2023 to 8 March 50 or 2052. But then there is that one period from 8 September to 8 March that we also need to take into account. So that's why we have a 59. It is the 58 plus that one period that we need to work with. So
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it now.
okay, cool. And it might be if I look at these answers, it might be if you work with the 58, it might even be that you go for answer D. So there might even be one of those answers that will give you answer D. Okay, and then where do we get the 27? So that is from 12 August up until 8 September. Will be 27 days, but how you get that is to go to that table of counting days. So go there and look at 8 September with that value and subtract the value of 12 August, and then you will get 27. The same for the 184 is using that counting days table and check how many days are there from 8 March up until 8 September. So that is where you will get those 2 days is from that table. So I'm not counting any other way else than by using that counting days table. Because again, it might just be one day that you miss out and then you don't get that number that we are looking for. Okay, please hang on. I just want to restart quickly my PC. I just want to get the second screen up and running again. It feels like I want to see you guys while I'm working. So let me quickly just give me 2 or 3 minutes so that I can just reboot my system. I will be back now.
Hi. Do you guys understand this coupon rate thing? I'm so freaking confused. Nee.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, especially where there's a not full time what yeah.
Yes. No, I'm not getting it. I'm telling you. Yeah. No, it's
I
very
thi-
confusing.
I think it's very important to check the dates and the month. They should correspond,
And then
especially
what?
the settlement date, the maturity and the settlement date. From there, I think that's where you should
Yes.
check, because I think the months are the one that, yeah, we should just pay attention on that. Otherwise, yes, everything is gonna be like wrong, and especially when calculating all in price, because there's a lot of steps that you need to do.
Yes. It is a lot of steps.
Yeah,
Now, I'm so confused with this coupon rate.
I think you need to check, yeah, the maturity date and the next coupon. You need to check them, because sometimes the months are not the same. If the months are not the same, that's where we add maybe one or what. Because if the periods are the same, we just subtract the years and multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there is maybe a lapse in between, that's where we add one. I think most of the time.
Yeah. Now I need a personal tutor to sit with me with this one.
Great.
Because calculating the Haitian R, it's very simple.
Yeah.
But with financial calculator, I think it's very simple
Yes.
than working through this calculation.
Yep.
The formulas, because the formulas, I think that's where you're gonna make some mistake.
Okay,
Here is back. Yeah.
we are back. Hopefully, you guys have chatted a bit about what
How
is needed. Okay, cool. So let's continue. Okay. And can you see question 4 and then information with it?
Yes, we could see question.
Okay, finally. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've done simple discount. Then we went into this sinking fund. We went into coupons and now internal rate of return. Okay, so the internal rate of return, again, we can so the internal rate of return, again, you guys can use your calculator. I want to show you on Excel as well. So I will share this on the Excel with you in the chat as well. So let's just put in, you can expect the funding cash inflows for the next 5 years from an investment of 1,500. So there was that initial investment of 1,500,000. So that we just get that right. I will make this bigger now as well so that we just see the numbers. Okay, 1,000. I want to say 1,500 for all time. Then it was 61 or 610,000, 500,000, 100,000. We'll just make sure by formatting those cells that we have all the right numbers. So 610, 500, 100,000, 800, 750. Okay, so internal rate of return, there is a formula for that in Excel, so it's just IRR. You can see there's a nice one that later on we might need to use it as well, MER. So for now, internal rate of return, all that we put in is the numbers, and then we will get the answer. So let me just make that a bit bigger now. And let's just put that. So 20.88, and that would be between 22.88. So you can also use your calculators. So on the HP, all that you will use is that CFJ button and basically put in those amounts. In the Sharp, you will use your data. But exactly as you would have done in the Sharp or the HP, the first one needs to be negative, where the rest is positive. Reason for the negative is, remember, that's what you put in, and then these are the money that you get out. So if you did not make that positive, it will automatically, or if you make it positive, it will automatically tell you that, so it won't even work out an answer for you. It will tell you that there's something wrong, because it will always need to see that first investment as a negative number. Okay, so I will share this so that when you guys get any other examples like this, you can just put it into this, and it will automatically work it out for you. Yeah, so for calculations like internal rate of return, MER, those kind of things, I like Excel. Also for amortization and those kind of things, again, I normally like to use Excel more than the calculator, just because I haven't really used amortization on a calculator for ages. So to learn that again is nearly, it's easier for me to use for things that I'm using every day. So that's why I'll also show you guys when I use Excel, it is possible to do it in Excel as well. So you can also use Excel for some of your other calculations, but again, for me, if you have one of your HP or Sharps, it's normally very easy to do a question like this, that is compound interest. Sorry, not compound interest, net value, present value. So again, we might use Excel in this instance as well. It looks like nearly the same data. Let's quickly check. 1.5 mil. So let's look at 1.5 mil. There was with 610, 500, 100,000, 800. And when the net present value of the investment in the new shop is 345, what is the cost of capital? Okay, so in this instance, again, you're basically working with the same data. So you can, I'm gonna check if we can do it on Excel as well. So let's quickly first do it. Let's just create a copy. So one thing that needs to change is that there was an extra investment of 345,123. Okay, so the only thing, and we can still use the internal rate of return. That is what you would have done on your calculators in any case. So let me just quickly. So if you need to do cost of capital, just remember the component of capital that you put into the shop is added to that beginning value. So in actual fact, she put in 1.8 million. So obviously, if you put in more, you get the same return. Your return on that capital will be less. So that is why with the internal rate of return, when it was only 1.5 million, we will nearly getting around the return of 23%. Now you've added another 350 mil or 350,000 nearly. You added 345,000. So by default, nearly, if your returns doesn't go up, your rate will go down. So that was nearly the only thing different in this example, is that we have increased that initial investment amount. When you do it on your HP or your shop, you will follow exactly the same process. So you will then have that as your initial payment. Again, -1845000. You will put in the next 5 as you need to put in the next 5 as your flows, and then on the HP you will also use your internal rate of return button, and on your shop you will then use the cash button there as well. So exactly the same nearly in internal rate of return and the cost of capital methodology. Again, you can use Excel, you can use your calculator. I will again share this with you guys so that you can use it if you want to. Okay, question on these two. I think this is sometimes the nice things that one get, because, and I think Dotwa, you mentioned something in the conversation that I picked up about how easy it is to make a calculation error. It's very easy in these ones to make a calculation error. So when you do this, just be very careful with, especially when you put in the numbers into your calculator, that you're putting in the right numbers, because it might be that by just making one error, there might even be an answer. So just be very careful with these, because this you purely trust the calculator. So it's not where you can nearly check another method or anything. So unless, what I normally do is I will check calculator, and then I will just do a quick check on Excel as well to see if it is at least the same answer. Okay, cool. So let's look at the next one. So that was 14.12 or 14.12. See, in both answers there was a 14.12, but it's not with the IRR, you can't really get to that. But with this one, they've put in the 22.88 as well. So if you have not incorporated that extra net present value into that 1,000 or 1.5 million, you probably would have gotten option C. So just again, be very careful when we do this, that we work with the right number set. Okay, so option A was the correct one. I will share with you the Excel spreadsheet, so don't worry about that. I will put that onto the WhatsApp group. So again, for guys that might have joined a bit later, if you want to join our WhatsApp group, my number is 0837908387. I am quickly going to just copy it back into the chat as well. So basically, what we're going to do tonight, Thursday night and Monday night, we're just going to go through previous exam examples, so that we hope that we can cover what they might ask you in the exam. Okay, so question 7. And again, I made a note that this is around increasing annuities. So in this one, Tandia has taken out an endowment policy that matures in 30 years. The expected interest rate per year is 11.15%, compounded, that is probably once a year, not one a year, compounded once a year. The first yearly payment is 7,500, after which the yearly payments will increase with 800 Rand each year. The amount that she can expect to receive on the maturity date is, okay, and it is a vast spread of numbers. Okay, so for this one, again, I will use, and let me, I have at least written it down this time, some formulas. So let's just quickly write it down, and then we can see what we have and what we need to get. Then it is the interest formula. And again, you will find this in that formula page that I will share with you again after the session. And that is nearly why I marked it as increasing annuity, because on that page or in that deck, it is also marked, this is the formulas for increasing annuity, this is the formula for that, so that if you can identify the question, then it is easy for you to nearly only go to that page and see what the formulas are. Okay, so this is what we need to calculate. So again, not a quick calculation. We've got R, the monthly or the installment. So this one was yearly installments. We've got the increase, that is 800, so that is your Q. And we had the interest component, that is 11.11 or 11.15%. So again, I automatically write it as this so that we don't still need to work it out as a percentage. So that is that one covered. Then let's see what is in here. 1 plus 0.1115. N, they told us it's 50 years. That is perfect. No catches, not saying anything about twice a year or quarterly. It's only once a year. It increases only once, so we can work with a 50. We don't need to worry about other calculations that we need to divide by how many periods and those kind of things. And then the component that we subtract, so it is for 50 years, it is for 800 Rand. And that we also divide by the interest rate. That we must just make sure and not 1115. Okay, so let me quickly check. So the 800 divided by 0.1115 will give you 7174. So if I add the 7,500, I get 14,674.8879. So let's round it off and let's just see what impact it has on our answers. Normally they tell you that keep it saved in the memory or something like that, because rounding off can have an impact. But let's just see with these numbers that are so far away from one another, it might not have really an impact. Sure. Okay, so that we also just need to check if what I did here was correct. And if anybody is checking the answer, please do. Okay, so this at least tells me that I am doing something right if I get that answer. Okay, so it's a bit off because I rounded off, but I got the 3,005,888.54, so that's fine. So at least I know I'm working right, but remember that is not my end value. I still need to subtract. So the 50 times 800 is 24,000 divided by 0.01115. So I must still subtract 215,246.63. then my answer is 2790641.90. Okay, so by rounding off here and here, it's a few cents out. So you're not going to get that answer 2790641.47 and another one that is going to be 0.90 and another one that is 0.00 or something like that. Okay, so D then is the correct answer. But once again, like in a lot of the other questions, and that is nearly just, I think, the one thing that you guys need to take out of, and you might have picked it up in your mock exams and your assignments as well, is somewhere down the line when you're calculating, there is already an answer. And it's sometimes, and I know I have done it as well, is when you're sitting in that exam, and you're stressing and you're seeing a number and you're seeing the number in your answer set, when it's nearly like, but there it is, and you mark it off and you go to the next one. So just when you do it, just remember nearly don't look at the answers until you have done your whole sum completed, because it might be that you see it in this instance, you forgot about that, and you mark it off and you go to the next question. So just be careful with that, especially in the exam when you are pressed for time and things like that. Okay, that's increasing annuity. Again, one can make the mistake somewhere in the calculation, but I think the biggest thing is you are nearly allowed to do the rounding off to make it simpler for yourself. Yes, it might be that you are out a few cents, but once again, it's not going to be that you will get three answers that because of rounding off. So there will be a big gap in between the answers. Okay, so that is increasing annuity. Then we basically, from increasing annuity, we come back to just a normal compound interest question. And that is why I nearly want to say some of them are really simple questions, but they mix it up so that you nearly think, but what's in here that can catch me out? So let's see if there is something that might catch you out. So Pia needs 5,000 Rand urgently. She goes to the bank and borrows the money at the interest rate of 28 per year, compounded monthly. The amount of money that Pia will have to pay back to the bank in 15 months' time. Okay, so we will need to work out the future value. We've got a present value of 5,000. We've got the interest rate of 28%. Sure, that's a lot. Compounded monthly. So remember, payments per year is 12. We only work with 15 months. So our total N is 15 months. So how I will get to that nearly is to say that we will have 1.25 N. So that our total is, the total periods is 15 periods. So let's see, what else do we need? Nothing else. So let's calculate that. So remember, 12 times per year, it is 28% interest, 1.25 years. So it gives us 15 periods, minus 5,000 present value, and then your future value is going to be 7066.87. Okay, which is option A. Okay, so again, it might be if, let's quickly check. If we said that it's only one time per year, yeah, so if we didn't say 12 times per year, but we kept it as default one time per year, there is also an answer for you. So again, those small things that have the influence on your answer set, and unfortunately, they have it nearly for all the other possibilities. They have an answer for you as well. If you were working out, let's quickly check. So if you were working out a present value instead of a future value, there might be an answer for you as well. So just in this one, just be careful. This is supposed to be straightforward. So just be careful about all the other possibilities that they might pop up and might be. Okay, so just use the information, write it down, nearly look at it, and then you can populate it in your HP or with your Sharp. So okay, so that was just a normal compound interest question. Then we've got, and this again is amortization. So I see it missed the line, so it should have been like that. So the table we have, the outstanding principal at month beginning is 948,004. The interest that was calculated, simple interest, was 8690.04. The payment was 25,804.71. The principal repaid was that, and they ask us, oh, and I should have added that, they ask us what is the applicable interest rate that was used in this calculation. And so we will need to work out interest rate. So one thing they tell us, simple interest. Okay, so now we need to nearly go back to simple interest rate. We will need to work out the interest rate. So remember, it was nearly, so let's quickly rewrite this. Remember, your original formula of total interest for simple interest was PTR. So if we want to isolate R, we will divide on both sides with PT. So we will then sit with R is equal to the interest divided by the principal divided by time. So that is how the formula would look like. So let's just check if we have all the information in this table to populate that formula. So we've got the interest that was due, so it's 9690.04. We have the principal, so it's 948004. And do we have the time? It's 1 month. Okay, so at month beginning, at month end, so it is for 1 month, so it's 1/12. Okay, so then this will hopefully give us the interest rate. So let's just, I'm first going to work out the 948004 divided by 12. So 8690.04 divided by 79000.333. So I think again, it might be interesting if we don't keep the decimals, but again, I can't see that with that amount of decimals that we will suddenly jump from 11 to 11.20 or from 9.26 to 11. So if I say 8690.04 divided by this, I get 0.11. But then obviously I need to multiply by 100 to get a percentage. So my final answer will be 11%. Okay, so in this one, it's not difficult, but it is there's a lot of information hidden in that table. So they tell you it's simple interest in there. They tell you beginning of a month, end of a month, so that you know that your period is only 1 month that you're working with. And then you needed to nearly remember from your work that we've done in study unit 2 nearly, that interest is principal times interest rate times the time period. And that we will then need to isolate for R to get to your answer. What they could have done in this instance as well is they could have given you the interest rate. They could have left out the interest that you need to work out. So they could have nearly asked you to work that out. So by just then shifting the formula a bit around, one can get to that. They might have even given you the interest. They've given you here the interest. They've given you the time period. So they might even leave out what the principle at the beginning was. So that is another one that they can ask you to work out. So there's a few things from this table that they can nearly tell you, but work out something different. So again, I think if you know the principle, then you can nearly work around it. Also, please check just that you, so again, if we look at how to get to these answers, so outstanding amount plus the interest minus your payment will equal to your principal repaid. So again, it might be that they give you some of the information, not all the information, and you need to maybe work out something else. So they could have given you the outstanding principal at month beginning. They could have given you the interest rate. They could have given you principal repaid at the end of a month, so that you need to work out the payment. So there's a few things with this set of information that they can manipulate nearly to give you other questions. So just be mindful of that, so that again we are prepared for nearly everything that they can throw at us in the exam. Okay, let's do one or two more. Question 11. Sybil borrowed 17,500 from the Fear Shark Academy at the interest rate of 29.61% per year, compounded weekly. The amount that Sybil will have to pay back to the agency after 91 weeks. Okay, so now in a question like this, you can use your calculator, because this is purely, we will need to work out a future value. We need to be very careful then what we use. So let's put, we've got the present value as 17,500. That's not a problem. We've got the interest rate as 29.61%. Okay, so that's not the issue. Payments per year, weekly, so it's 52 payments per year. And then what I would just do is to say 91 divided by 52, so that we get 1,75 years. And if we multiply those two together, we get for 91 weeks. So, and then we can work out our future value. So let's put that in 17,500 negative as your present value. Interest rate is 29.61. Very important, 52 times a year. Not once, not for 12. That was in the previous question, 52, 1.75 years. So we get 91 periods, and then your future value, just make again sure, 29,338.66. And let's just see if there is 29, sure, 381, 29, 1. Okay, and there's the option. Okay, so question not difficult, but the information in it is a bit difficult because of the 52 periods per year. Let's just check. If you set again 12 times per year, if you set 12 times per year instead of 52, option D would have been your answer. So just those small things again that can come in and create havoc nearly in your answers, because you've done everything correct. You have not used the 52 or compounded weekly correctly, and then there is the answer for you. So again, when you guys do it, just be very careful what you put into the calculators, as there is definitely for other options, you can now really see there is actually answers, which again is not really cool, because you nearly want to know if you've done something wrong that there isn't an answer. But some instances, unfortunately, there is answers for you guys to choose. Okay, so let's do one more. When we call it evening, we will continue again Tuesday. It is Tuesday night tonight, Thursday night, sorry. Again, 5:30. And then next week, Monday, will again be a session, your last session, just as final prep. Okay, so well, we might do two more. So let's see. So question 12. So now very much definition question. Which coefficient represents the part of a variation in the dependent variable that can be explained by the independent variable? Okay, so this now I'm gonna throw back at you guys to say which one do you think is the correct one? So is it coefficient, relation coefficient, determination, correlation, regression, or summation? What would you say? And you can just type in the chat. You don't need to unmute or anything. You can just type in the chat what you would have said is the answer. And if you also need to guess, that's fine. So let's look at the set of answers, and let's just, so there isn't a summation coefficient. This has to do with regression, but there is not a regression coefficient. Okay, so we have a correlation coefficient. We do get we get a coefficient of determination, so that's also one that we do get. But again, there is not something like a relation coefficient as well. So nearly eliminating some options, that if you need to guess, there's two options. But this one, where we look at variation goes together with determination. So what we will work out here is for R square. So just again, if you look at study unit 8, and you look at some of, I think it's study unit 8, some of the regression lines, correlation coefficient, coefficient of determination. Just go and look at some of those definitions again, because things that they love to ask is the determination one or the correlation one, that is R. So that's normally the two that you will get in some of the papers. What they normally will also, and I'm just now going into some of that study unit, things that they can add to it is, remember when we look at R square, it takes on values between 0 and 1. When we look at R, it takes up values between -1 and 1. So just again, some of the differences between the two. Other things when we look at this is that it might be that they talk about a strong negative correlation, then it will be on this scale closer to -1. If I talk about a strong positive correlation, it will be more closer to the +1, but it can actually take any values between -1 and 1. And if it's 0, it means that there is no correlation at all. Okay, so if it is 0, there is no correlation. Okay, so that we'll stop at this question. Next week not next week, next session, we can continue. What I am going to do, and again for the guys not on the WhatsApp group, you can join the WhatsApp group by sending me a WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is in the chat. So I will put the recording a bit later onto the WhatsApp group. I will post this PowerPoint on the WhatsApp group as well. So if you want to look at some of the questions that will be coming up on Thursday and on Monday, and you really want to ask certain questions on it, please do. Else I will just work through all of them. But that's why I think I will share it, and then I will also again share the tables or the summary sheets that I got from Telegram. So I will just share that with you guys as well, that you can also use some of those formulas and tables and those kind of things. Okay, great everyone. So we'll meet on Thursday, and we will just continue with this so that we just make sure that we give you enough prep for the exam. Okay, cool. Thanks everyone. Have a good evening, and chat again on Thursday. Cheers.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.